Good evening, everyone. My name is Victor. You can also call me Boutique Media. And today we are talking about graphic design. So now the next thing to talk about. Sorry, just hold on. Yeah. So the first thing to talk about on graphic design is the basic design principles. So what is graphic design? Elements of design, balance in design, unity, contrast, repetition, pattern, hierarchy, spacing, padding, alignment, color theory, and also typography. Now, what is graphic design? Graphic design is the creation of visual content with a communication purpose. So let's put it like this. I will say it is a mixture of words and picture and different types of shapes to communicate a message. That's the whole idea of graphic design, to communicate a message. And a graphic designer is a person who use a mix of visual elements like images, typography, logos, and page layouts to communicate a message. Now, what are the elements of design? Now, these elements are used to name all the components used to design, or the content in a design. So they are used by different type of software like Canva, like Go High Level, different type of Go High Level, even not just only graphic design platforms. Well, like platforms like landing pages platform and website platform, all of them, even Wix, they use elements when they are trying to refer to components of what you use to design. When you want to build a website, you design. It's just as in a different form. When you are building a landing page, you design. So an element of design is a basic visual component used to create and build any design work. Designers use this element to express ideas, evoke emotions, and bring structure or beauty to their work. So now these are the examples of elements. So the first element here now, you don't call this apple, you call this image, because this is an image element. And this now, you don't call this abcd, you call it text, because anything can be text, even the text also can be text. So, and these are the colors. We have shape, we have forms, we have regular shapes, a lot and a lot. And another thing is balance. So balance in design means arranging elements so that no one part of the design feels heavier or out of place. It gives a sense of stability, harmony, and order. Now, lack of balance can make your design empty on the other side, as it is falling at the other side. And types of balance, we have the symmetrical balance, is when the elements at the right side has same visual weight as the element on the left side. See, now when they are talking about these elements, now instead of saying the images, the text, the graphics, the that, they just pack everything together and just say elements. So these are like the codes used in designing. These are the codes used in designing. And when talking about this balance now, this is a perfect example of symmetrical balance, when there is balance between the elements you put on the right and the elements you put on the left. And asymmetrical balance is having different elements on the left and right side, but visual weight equal visual weight. So this is a very perfect example. You will see that is not this the image here, like this leaf now, does not have eye, or is not taller. Let me put it like that. Is not taller or does not have length more than this. It's like they are almost in the same length and they are obtaining the same frame. That's for the asymmetrical balance. And now let's move to unity. So unity is the harmony produced by all the elements in a design piece using similar colors that match and integrate elements organically that make it appear as if they belong together. So lack of unity will make design look confusing. Not only that, viewers can be attracted to wrong elements of the design and wouldn't get the clear message. Now, this unity is seen in every design you see out there. Now this starts with the sizes you use for your designs, the way you place your elements and everything. Now if you take a look at this, well, this page now, if you are looking at this for the first time, what we eventually get your attention is two things. Is either the unity word that we have here or this shape, before you can now think of what we have here. So you see how the design is now. So that means the main topic, the main focus of this page is this unity we have here and these icons we have here, or these elements we have here. So just like in designing too, it is very very important that all those elements you are using are working together with each other. Now we now move to contrast. Yes, this is a very very important and very great aspect in designing. So it refers to the level of difference between design elements in order to create visual hierarchies. The variation makes certain elements stand out more than others, and you can apply contrast by using colors, textures, sizes, and shape. So these are perfect example of contrast. So this contrast has to do with the background you are using, because they used to say that okay, if you are using a dark color for a background, that means anything you are putting on it, any element you are putting on it should be of light color. So you can, even my mouse now, the way I input my mouse is contrast. So when I put the mouse is black, but when I drag it on this black arrow now, it changes to white. That means it will bring the contrast color of any object, any element I'm hovering on. So you can see this yellow now is going to change to blue. So that means if you are using yellow for background, the best color to write on it is blue. And likewise, if you are using blue, the best color to write on it is yellow, because both is going to come out well. Now if you said okay, I'm going to use brown, if you use brown, let me say you use the deep brown like wood brown, and you now want to write, you now use black, you are going to see the text but it is not going to show, because both of them will be fighting each other. Both are dark colors. So you can see this green orange, or let me call it lime. Yes, this green lime that we have here now, you can see that if you try to write using black here, it's going to show, but it will not be readable, especially for maybe young readers or adults. But you see this red now, you see that it stood out from all of them because of what, it's contrasting. Like the contrast is very very okay compared to what we have here. So when thinking about, when designing, you also need to think about the contrast. If you are using black for background, so that means colors you'll be using for your text, for any element you want to use, should be something like white, light blue, light yellow, light red, and similar colors. So now lack of contrast can make design look dull and boring, and viewer can overlook the important message. Now repetition is repeating a simple element through the design. It can be achieved by repeating elements in a design like logo or tagline in a brand development. This is a good example of repetition. Yeah. And another one is pattern. So pattern is a repetition of more than one design element. While repetition focuses on a single element being repeated, pattern refers to multiple elements repeated throughout a design. That is for pattern. And now we move to hierarchy. Hierarchy in design is the way we arrange elements to show their importance. It helps people to know, it helps people know where to look first, then where to look next, and so on. When you see billboards outside, they don't make their social media handle to be very very big. No, they don't place priority on that. They place priority on those just short theory words they want you to read. Maybe Ileya is ready, Ramadan is around the corner, other picnic, all those stuff. So they make the message that they want to pass to be your attraction. How do you get attracted to those messages is through the way they place priority or the hierarchy on the element. So the bigger the element, the higher they catch attention first. Now to the next one is spacing. Now spacing in design is the use of empty areas, also called white space, between elements like text, images, or shape. It helps make things easier to read, create balance, and also guide the viewer's focus. Good spacing makes a design look clean, organized, and professional. Now, when talking about space, or when you hear white spacing, it does not mean there is a white space in the design. It's talking about the spaces between the elements and how they help makes the design a better design. When you space your design properly, when there is proper spacing, there is good white spacing, it will be readable. And because when designing, you consider young people, you consider your audience, you consider who you are targeting. So if it is a billboard, you don't just use maybe a font that will not be readable for everybody. So you use a font that just at one glance, within 1 minute of looking at the billboard, people will be able to get the message. And this also come with everything we have been talking about before, the hierarchy, spacing, and everything. Now, padding, yeah, padding. So this padding is used in web design, is used in landing pages, UI UX. If you are building app, if you are doing designing, anything that you are doing that has to do with designing, you need to understand padding and margin. So padding in design refers to the space between the content and its borders. It gives breathing room around text or images inside the box or layout, making the design cleaner and easier to read. So a perfect example is when you want to click a button. So you see the space between the button and the box inside the space between the text and the box inside the button is called the padding. So if there is no enough space between the text and the box of the button, so that means it will not be easier to read. It will look very very chunky. I don't really know how to put it, but it will not be perfect. Yeah, it will not be perfect. So when designing, it is very very important to understand how padding also works. And next one we have is alignment. So alignment in design means placing elements so they line up with each other to create order, connection, neatness, everything. Now when aligning, we have the center alignment, we have the right, we have the left. So it depends. If it is website, when you are designing website, the logo, if it is the desktop view, the logo is always at the center, or most times at the center. And when you are working with your text, your body, like the paragraph, it's always center aligned. But when you move all those stuff to mobile, if you are designing the mobile view, you have to align everything to left. So all this is just for good readability, for easy communication, so people can quickly understand what you are um portraying. And another one is color theory. So coloring is one of the most powerful elements of design. In what we see, when light reflects off an object, it hits our eyes. In design, color brings life, mood, emotion, meaning to anything you create. And to color qualities, the first one we have is hue. So hue is the name of the color, like red, blue, and yellow. And saturation, this is how pure or intense the color is. Maybe you want it to be bright, you want it to be dull. And value is how light or dark the color is. So now this is a very very perfect example. We have hue here, we have saturation over here. So if you try to increase the saturation, that means you are wanting the picture, you want the colors to be bright, you want it to be bright, like vivid. Now this is it. The value, we have the shade, tint, and the tone. And also for this we have black, white, and ash. So if you are increasing the saturation, that means shade red plus black is going to give us something like this. Red and white is going to give us something like this, and this stone and ash is going to give us something like this. And also, when designing, you really need to understand what we call color wheel and color combination. And as a graphic designer, when starting, you're advised to first start with using one colors. When we say one colors, it means any color apart from white and black. White and black are neutral colors. White and black are neutral colors. I designed a flyer today and I used black as the background with just a touch of orange that is not really visible, like orange shade, but it's black. What you see at the first glance is black, and they have to tell me that their color is white, green and orange, that I should change the black. And now I'm not trying to educate them that black is neutral, white is neutral. So because you use black in your design doesn't mean that's the brand color. Anybody can use black, anybody can use white. But if you're now trying to bring any other colors, that's where there is boundary. That's where you need to set boundary. Okay, these are the colors I want for my brand, these are the colors I did not want. So if you look at a lot of brands outside there, like Kuda uses purple. FCMB uses purple. So because Kuda uses purple does not mean when they are designing you will not see black in their flyer, or you will not see white in their flyer. But it will be very hard for you to see blue, for you to see red in Kuda's flyer. Just the same thing for many other fintechs or any other companies like that. So these are the main primary color. We have the red, blue and yellow, and the secondary colors we have the green, yellow, orange, red, violet and blue. So for the tertiary colors now, sorry, for the secondary colors again, we have the green, orange and violet. And for the tertiary colors we have the yellow green, yes, yellow green, yellow orange, red violet and blue violet. And all these are a mixture of what we have beside them. So this green now is a mixture of blue and yellow, this orange is a mixture of yellow and red, and violet mixture of red and blue. Now let's continue. So color harmony, colors that you can combine together for your design. So two colors are the opposite side on the wheel. So that means red and green are colors that you can combine together on the design. A color with two opposite colors on the color wheel, just like what we have here, you can use them for design. And combination with a main color with two next colors on the color wheel, and also using of different shades of one basic color on the wheel. So you can use like um dark green, light green, and let me put like the super light green. So let's continue. So to the last part, which is typography. So typography is the art and style of arranging text in design. It's all about how words look and feel, not just what they say. So key parts of typography, we have the font, we have the size, we have the weight, we have the spacing. So for the font, it determines maybe you are using serif fonts or sans serif fonts. So there are a lot of fonts that are available for you to use. And when designing, depending on the platform that you want to choose, if there is a font that you do not know, this is a pro tip now, you can go to ChatGPT and screenshot maybe that particular inspiration of design, maybe from a flyer, I don't know, just screenshot it and give ChatGPT that give me a font similar to this that I can use. And when you have that font, you can now go to fonts.google.com fonts.google.com to download the font, to import it to any software you are using to design. Or you go to dafont.com. Dafont is dafont.com. Dafont.com or fonts fonts fonts.google.com. So those are the major places you can get fonts for free. You don't need to pay for it. So next thing we have size. Bigger text grabs more attention. Weight, bold, regular, light, and anyhow you want it. And we have alignment. Alignment is how text is positioned. We have talked about that in alignment. And we have the hierarchy. So you see the font now. This is a font, this is a font, this is a font. There is a font that is like handwriting, there's font like that is meant for fashion, and a lot like that. So all these are the theoretical aspects of graphic design, and this is the starting point. So I advise you to go through this over and over again, at least go through it twice. Go through it twice. So after this now, you'll be able to move on to your next stage in designing. Thank you very much for joining today. And if you have any question, you can drop it in the comments. Yeah, you can drop it in the comments and I will respond to it within 24 to 48 hours. Thank you for watching.